We thank you for this beautiful day you've given us, dear Lord. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for your love and your grace and your Son who gave his life for our sins. Dear God, be with us during our meeting. Bless us with your presence here and hope everything that we do and say pleases you. These things we pray in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with roll call. Commissioner Fleetwood.
Present.
Commissioner Key.
Here.
Commissioner Montgomery.
Present.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Excellent. I want to welcome everyone here this evening and let you know we appreciate you. And we also want to take a moment here to thank all of our first responders and health officials in the county and beyond for all the work they're doing to keep people healthy and to promote good health in our county. Right now, they're kind of being taxed, and they need our prayers and they need our patience and our cooperation as best we can. So it's it's a challenging time, and we want to make sure that we thank those individuals within the county and beyond. Also want to extend a great level of appreciation and honor to Jackie Young, who recently won gold. And so I think just an extension to her of congratulations. And it's a great time to be a Gibson County citizen. And I think all of us can get behind her and appreciate her accomplishments. So it's quite a feat. It's quite a feat. It's an amazing feat. And the commissioners would just like to send out best wishes to Jackie and her family and let them know that we are proud of her and all of her great accomplishments and look forward to what's to come. So we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Also move.
Second.
Motion made second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. On to the claims. I'll read the claims for us. Thank you, Mr. Watkins. Ditch claims, $4,732.07. Innkeeper's distribution and ditch claim, $18,751.69. Insurance premiums, $425,042.76. Unemployment for June 2021, $479.59. Payroll deductions, $161,601.01. Payroll, $336,406.59. County General, $27,072.30. Courts, $3,156.77. Highway, $160,995.34. Sheriff, $7,205.29. ACH, $33,857.95. CAW 1, $34,462.58. CAW 2, $36,775.33. We'll entertain a motion to approve those claims.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Acknowledgement of the clerk and treasurer reports.
The only one we had was the clerk's report. The treasurer report had to be withdrawn. So
I looked at it. It's fine.
It's. Great.
thank you.
Department reports. We'll just go in this order. Of anyone from Animal Services, Veterans, Highway.
Yeah, just an update. So on chip and sealing, we are in our 9th township already. Just the second week of June, guys are moving right along. We are in Gibson township. I think we've got 2 miles left there, and then we start the Wabash, and then we've got some other little odds and ends of milling roads and stuff to catch up on, but everything is going Well, I'm not gonna speak for Matt, Matt's not here, but I think we're gonna start paving at the end of August. Paving starts, so everything's going well.
Very good, very good. I know those roads are looking better all around the county.
Appreciate what our highway department's doing.
Moving along, on down the line here, Health Department.
Good evening. You see my numbers there. I think you all got my report. We do have May and June on one and July on the other sheet. As you can see, we've had 226 positive COVID tests. And that's not including a rapid test because that's not into the state website yet. So we're closer to 250 positive COVID cases this month, or for July, I should say. And if you look back at May and June, when we were giving more vaccines, our positive cases was lower. And so we are seeing that correlation, like if we get our vaccines out, we see go down. So there's a correlation. When the vaccines slow down, the cases go up. When the vaccines go up, the cases go down. So there's a correlation there, which is telling you that the vaccines are working. If you can look at the numbers, Ben wasn't there. He's off this week, so I don't have all his numbers for septics for this month. But if you can tell from the last couple of months, he's been really busy with the septic calls and helping with the pot splits. And then of course the food inspections and stuff has been very busy. Our health department had a board meeting last night, and thank you, Lauren. We appreciate that.
My pleasure.
And one of the things that they made a motion that I addressed to you all is that we have some grants that have become available to us. We have $100,000 coming to extend our testing site, which we had our testing site, we closed at the end of June due to people constantly coming into the health department requesting a test. We have reopened that testing site. At this time, it is in a tent just outside the health department. So if anybody needs a test, it's open Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursday this week. As of next week, we're gonna go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then hopefully if I can get the staff hired, then we will go 5 days a week with some Saturday hours also. The testing site is completely free. And we will have PCR testing as well as rapid tests available there. We are still looking to find a building to do our testing out of. And we've had some, pretty good prospects. So we will continue to follow up with them and see if we can especially get in a building by later this fall. Right now, it's not too bad, but working out the tent. But as the weather gets worse, then, we'll have to adjust. Because we definitely do not have room in our building to do any testing and do the vaccines. With that being said, one of the requests we have is that whenever you address the monies in the different buildings that you're looking at possibly building in the future with different agencies, that you include the health department in that. If you're welcome to come down and look anytime, and Warren was just there, we have a very tight area to even conduct a meeting. And we really have no areas to separate people when we're doing vaccines. It's really difficult to do our communicable disease reporting when we have somebody on the phone. And then the nurses station is right outside the main lobby, so it's hard to be confidential that way. So we do request that whenever you're looking at some building options, that you help to move us to a more suitable building. But with the testing site being up, we've got $100,000 to run from June to June. We still have $50,000 left from last year's grant. So we have $150,000. So my proposal and what the board recommends, the motion recommends to you all is that instead of paying, we want to pay per their job title. So if they're going to be specimen collection staff. That would be the ones that would be getting the actual specimens from the clients, whether it be a nurse or a certified person, that they get paid $20 an hour. For the, just, now the RN will have to pay 25 to keep them. So unless they're an RN, they'll get 20, and then an RN would get 25. So that was their proposal. And then clerical staff be 15. So we can hire clerical staff for $15 an hour, certified collection staff for 20, and if it's an RN work on the side, it'll be 25. And these will all be contracted positions. We have a contract in the past. I've talked to Wendy, I'll work with Jason, and we'll get those contract signs, because there will be no benefit with that. It'll be strictly salary.
These employees are all part-time and we'll utilize our grant funds to pay for the personnel,
Right.
additional personnel.
Yes.
I think that's a great investment, and I think it's probably one, a significant way to respond to these increased numbers and some of the issues that your organization is addressing right now, right? I mean, I think we need the additional staff, and so you're kind of just looking for us to support it and move it to the county council so they can allocate those grant funds.
Yes.
And we already have the funds. You've already written the grant.
Yeah, we've already got the funds.
Yeah.
And there's $50,000 sitting in an account that we can utilize until the other 100 comes. So if the funds are there to pay the staff, it's just that I need professional people to work this site, let alone
Sure.
a lot of your people would not want to work a site where you're dealing with positive COVID patients. So it's not like the easiest thing to staff. So I'm requesting that we do that $15, $20, or $25 pay scale.
And listen, we have a significant number of folks in our county who are on a fixed budget, maybe even elderly folks. We have some low socioeconomic numbers. And, in talking with our health officials and some of our county physicians, and even an official from Deaconess, they're offering the testing, right? Deaconess is offering testing. If you walk in there and you don't have insurance, though, you're looking at about $139 out of your pocket. And maybe for some of us in here that are fortunate, that's not a lot of money. But for some folks in our community, that is a significant impact to their weekly budget, maybe even monthly budget. And what we're doing here as a county is we're saying we're going to ramp up. We're going to add additional days for testing so that folks can come in and get free testing in Gibson County at the health department. 4 days, potentially 5 days. We may even give them a weekend day, correct?
We will be. I've got to get staff to staff it accordingly. I don't have enough staff right now to run the weekend, but we will be we will have some Saturday hours, at least 1 or 2 Saturdays a month.
So if you or your child or a neighbor or a friend or maybe even a grandparent are feeling bad and you're concerned about it, or even if your employer requires you to get some kind of testing, then you'll have a place here in Gibson County to
And
get
we also
tested.
have the rapid and the PCR, so we'll have both tests.
And some employers want the rapid, right? I mean, they want to know.
In 15 to 20 minutes.
Mhm.
So I guess what I would request from you all can make a motion to approve our pay scale for our testing site staff at $15 clerical, $20 for certified, and $25 for an RN.
That has to come from the council.
Yeah.
And you're already approved for the 25 RN and 15 clerical, so you don't need that. The only one that you need approval for is the $20 for the specimen tech, because that's a different classification.
Right.
And we'll have to do a wage scale thing on that.
Okay.
So the $20 is all, you're already budgeted out for that 50,000,
Yeah.
or well, it's $49,152.41. You're budgeted and can spend that right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask for anything for that, but the only thing you're needing to ask for is that $20 specimen tech.
Uh-huh.
And that will come from the council to do that. So,
But does she need that for the new money? Because that other approval, and I realize it's council, but she's just asking us to back her. Do we need all three for the new money coming in?
I don't think we would because it's
I mean, I don't think so either.
going into
but-
that same fund.
Right,
It's the same, it's for the same thing. So we wouldn't have to have it because we have the salary ordinance
Right.
already made up. So, yeah.
I just wanted the council to know that the commissioners would.
Sure.
Yeah.
support this decision.
no, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, And so,
I'll entertain a motion to endorse Mrs. Hornby's request to the county council, of course.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 the other request that the board had asked me to discuss with you all is I brought it up in the past that we have our sanitation department, staff will be leaving next summer. He's planning on retiring. And so he also has some health issues and some time off that he'll be utilizing up until then. And so I am frequently without someone to do my septic inspections, which in turn I've got to go out and do. And I'm already helping with the testing side and the vaccine clinic. So it's spreading me a little bit thin there. So we are requesting that we go ahead and pursue the process to get someone hired to start shadowing Ben and fill in whenever he is not available. So that we're not so short-staffed.
They need to have any certain requirements.
They will have to go through the certification with the state, which
Mhm.
will not be until most of the year. But it's really helpful if they go out and get a good idea of, what the soil samples are, let Ben show them the different systems, because they're gonna have to test when they go to this certification, that they have a little bit of knowledge before they go into that.
Okay.
So that's why we're requesting one to help cover the office. And, even if they're answering questions and they're working with them, they're gonna learn a lot in that process. And obviously, we know how complicated with some of our subdivision plats and our septic system requests that we need to come in there with somebody very knowledgeable on that subject and not be unprepared when he
Mhm.
leaves. So that's what the board.
But they would be working with Ben.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we're asking that you approach the council to hire
Yeah.
a person to have in, and hopefully that person would start sometime this fall.
I know at the budget meetings, you were, told them about what was gonna happen and they, council don't say much, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of again asking, letting you know, this is what the board is wanting us to do. And kind of, I know that you would need to approve us hiring someone and the money would come from them, but I'm asking your permission to look into hiring someone to shadow Ben starting this fall.
We've done it in the past for different departments and that, so the more knowledge they have, the better off the county is.
Agree.
And we will also cross-train that person to do foods. So, we can utilize some of that extra time to get some of that training. We've got quite a bit of training to do there, so they will be cross-trained to do food as well as septics, and they also cover vital records.
Now all you have to do is convince the council.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the other really touchy subject, and I've been on the phone several times today with some superintendents, is what we're gonna do with the mask situation in our schools. The board, again, asked me to request to you all to follow the CDC recommendations. And this is kind of, I know you've all seen it, but I'll just, here's the CDC recommendations on masking. They are due to, we do have the Delta variant in our community. They say it spreads like glitter. And so I can't even remember what the number was this morning. I was at a conference call, but it is so much more contagious than the original COVID we were dealing with last year. And so that is why they're recommending that we really step up wearing our masks while we're in this high we have some cases in our community. So, the advisory level at this time, we did say orange, which I thought we might go red, but we're 2 is what our code is. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with have you seen this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But anyhow, it kind of gives you guidelines from the state when you go into the higher advisory levels and you have higher case numbers in your county to step up, your recommendations and your requirements. I did check with the state, and you all can work with the health officer and decide if you want to make a mandate for masking. That can be anywhere from public buildings to, businesses that will be up to what you and the health officer would decide, but that is an option that you can look into. The health department board does recommend that we follow the CDC guidelines and that all children that we recommend they wear a mask while they're at school. Especially when you're in a high advisory level. And if Vanderburg did the 1.5 and above. So, that'll be up to you all if you want to pursue that. But from the health department standpoint, we definitely support the CDC and the State Department of Health in recommending that all children wear masks when we're in such a high spread environment. As well as anybody indoors. If you're in an indoor building and you're not able to socially distance, the masks are recommended to come back. So.
I understand the Evansville Vandenberg School Corporation has already instructed their parents and students that they will be wearing masks at the beginning of the school year. I mean, this just came out, yesterday?
Yesterday, and the superintendents I think they would like to get that together and meet next week and see where we're going. I know that one of the problems whenever you have a mask mandate is who's gonna enforce it and how is it going to be enforced? So we have to, look at their concerns with that. So I definitely would recommend before you maybe make that decision is you pull your health officer and the superintendents and we have a group meeting, maybe even with the mayor and some of the local hospital representatives. I was told that some of the hospitals in Evansville have diverted patients due to their full with COVID people or COVID patients. So I was just told that this afternoon. So, I mean, I think we are, if to put it in perspective, we had 152 COVID patients last July when we had all children masked when we went back to school. This year, we're probably, with the ones that we have tested ourselves that's not in the system, we're at 250 plus positive cases. So we're sitting in a worse situation than we were last year. But to address some of the concerns with the superintendent, if we make a mask mandate in the schools, how are they going to enforce it? And also, how do you have children that are required to wear masks in school and then can go anywhere else and not have to wear masks? So we have to be very respectful of the public and their concerns related to this. But I think we have to look at what the CDC and the American Academy of Pediatrics, State Department of Health, what their recommendations are. So,
I was reading where 70% of the United States is vaccinated. But then I also read where our county was 43% vaccinated. I mean, just looking at numbers,
yes.
let's just look at the numbers. Let's just look at the numbers here on these vaccinations and then, but this Delta variant seems to be kind of a different animal. I mean, it has some different characteristics versus the other.
And to be quite honest, one of the reasons that they are requiring everyone to wear masks is when we went to only the vaccinated people had to wear masks. We had 40% of the population, give or take, vaccinated, and you went to any event and no one had a mask on. So 60% of the people were not following our recommendation. So, you know, and.
Which part of the population is it hitting the hardest right now in Gibson? I mean, or can you put a finger on it or?
It's just all over the place, but it does definitely seem like when we get a case, if you get it in a family, the whole family's getting it. So, you know, and children are getting sicker than they were previously. I heard on Good Morning America this morning that one of the hospitals that they have the school open, they're now seeing children on ventilators. And that's not a very common thing to see. So, we definitely don't want to get in that situation with children that are sick. But it's just it's a very difficult, touchy subject, but it's something the COVID did not go away. And we've kind of missed our window when we had so many of our residents not get vaccinated, that now we're in a kind of a dangerous situation. You know, we definitely encourage everyone to get their vaccines. We do them Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays now at the health department. Thursday is the only day that I ask that you do make an appointment, because I'm also doing the children's vaccines that day, and we're busy with back to school shots. But Mondays and Wednesdays, if you want a COVID vaccine, you know, you can just walk in and we'll see you. We carry all 3 vaccines. So I just kind of, I think that we probably need to put some more thought into what's going to happen with our school children this year. And as community leaders, I'm requesting that you get together and make some difficult decisions related to that.
Well, I think it's definitely a growing concern, and I'd be more than willing to sit down with the school corporation leaders and talk to them. I'll let the other commissioners speak for themselves, but I know I'd be more than willing to sit down with them and kind of map it out and look at our numbers at that time. I mean, I'm like everyone else in the room, I think. I'm looking for these numbers to improve. I'm hoping, praying for my neighbors and friends and family, and I don't want to see anyone get sick by any means.
Our positivity rate has only been higher than it is right now. I believe it was November, December, and January. Otherwise, our positivity rate per day is as high as it's been. So, I mean, we're definitely not over this by any means. And we all have to take more precautions to get this under control again.
I was just looking at the swath of the disease, like how it's transpired, how it's covered Europe. And I was looking in particular at India. And I don't want to, I mean, I'm a pretty upbeat person, so I don't want to cast a shadow, but the reality is India has suffered greatly. And they've had some record breaking, like global pandemic numbers over there with the Delta. And of course, they've suffered because of the population, right? I mean, they're overpopulated some places, and I mean, those poor people are I don't know, just it's concerning to me, just as as a citizen of the world, not just Gibson County, but it's concerning to me that so many people are falling prey to this terrible disease. But
with any pandemic, we know we have peaks, falls down, we have more peaks. And so, we can have repeated peaks if we're not aggressive with our actions. So, but that's about all I have, unless you all have questions for me.
And just to recap, as a county, what are we doing? We're increasing our days. We're going to increase the testing days. We're going to offer free vaccines, free testing. And we're going to get out and talk to our schools. Right? I mean, I feel like we're doing our part.
Yes.
And we need the community to help us.
That's correct.
Wash your hands. Do your best to not spread any kind of sickness.
And be smart when you're in social gatherings. I mean, try to avoid large gatherings, especially if it's indoors. Those are your high risk areas. So, and if you are in a situation like that, you can act on it, definitely. But most of all, get your vaccine.
Thank you, Diane, and please keep us informed. And if need be, we'll have that meeting.
Okay. I think that some of the superintendents are requesting that, so I'll get over to you all. You should stay for that later.
Don't
No.
believe so.
No.
Then I'm gonna step out. Okay.
You too, thank you.
Ahead.
Do we have any other department heads, want to come forward? Sheriff's Department,
I got the monthly statistics for July. 97 in the jail, average 24 in work release. Also in there, all the stats on paper service. That's pretty much all the sheriff gave me to tell you. He looks at reports if you want. If you have any specific questions, I can maybe answer them for you.
and one thing that came out of our meeting when I met with the county doctors and the health department yesterday was, if your inmates are needing any kind of attention, you know, they too can get the free testing, and so I just want,
I'll make those later.
okay.
Well, and while we're on the sheriff, I presume you get the copy of from the health department about the padded cell in the jail.
Yes.
And we need to move forward with it, and that is part of the building, so that is the commissioner's responsibility.
He did say something with the health department and the jail. State jail.
Oh, the state jail inspector also, yes.
One that we use quite frequently, and it's something that needs to be made available for us to use.
Sure. And I'm good with however we want to approach it. I know in the past, we talked about taking it out of his already approved funds, but Mary, if you think we should take it from somewhere else, I'm good with that too.
Well, I mean, the responsibility of the maintenance of maintaining of the buildings does fall on the commissioner's shoulder. Tim's taken on 2 or 3 major expenses, and he still has basically 6 months to go
Valid point.
with way less than half that budget. I'm not positive on what that cost is anymore. I've got it in the office, but I think we need
It was
to.
6,000 something.
I think between 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Have any particular fund you want to take it out of, or?
I mean, I don't know
Maybe
what we
don't
have.
need to get into the weeds right now.
Yeah, I mean, we have building fund, but
Okay.
I'd have to look and see, what the status is on it, and that we may have to take some out of something else too, or whatever.
Okay. Well, I'll entertain a motion to purchase or to pay for the padding from the most suitable, maybe I should say this, very likely the building fund at this time, or?
Yeah.
Could we not let him take it out of his fund and then do an appropriation to transfer money to it?
No.
No?
But he would have to do an additional appropriation.
Yeah, and that's
We
why-
could not give him
Right.
money.
Yeah.
He would have to request an additional appropriation.
Through the council.
And that's what I had thought originally, that we would just go ahead and use up what's budgeted for him.
But knowing that at this point, without taking that out of it, he's gonna probably have to ask for additional appropriation anyway. Because that is one fund that very often has to have additional appropriations too. So
Okay.
I'll make a motion
She'll
to,
make the motion.
Second.
And second, all in
this
favor?
time out of
Okay, paying for the padding out of,
the commissioner's building repair or whatever. I don't know the exact title of the line. Sorry, Mike.
That's okay. Mike got that.
okay. And Mary made the motion
Yes.
and Kenny, you seconded it?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other reports?
I just want to let you know, our guys have been working really hard and when I say really hard, we're still struggling to get part-time employees in. Last 2 I had interviews with, but didn't work out at all. So we're having a hard time getting people in, and because of that, our people are having to work a lot of shifts. And they're getting wore down. And I'm afraid with this COVID having a rebirth, more or less, that we could see even more problems with our staff. We've had several serious COVID patients ourselves that our staff has dealt with. So far as I know, we have not had any people within our service that has contracted it again. But we had to have one that was out for just a little bit because she was exposed to one and we didn't realize it was until it was over with. But like I said, they've been working hard. And it's also been full-time. We have not, we've got part-timers that can work. We've got a few that work, but most of it, and it's been really eating our part-time budget up, or not part-time, I'm sorry, our overtime budget up. And I think I've spoken with several of you about that, and just to let you know, I didn't want you to be blindsided because we are, eating that up, but we don't really have an option.
Yeah.
I'll entertain any ideas, but I don't know what to do because we've got a couple more. We're getting ready to do some testing and hopefully maybe take a couple more part-timers on, but I don't know where that's going to end up because the last two didn't, one of them just, that it wasn't enough money and she, wasn't interested in the other one after everything was done, so it just showed up. So we're struggling, so.
Well, hopefully, this will be received well and we can improve that situation with, some pay and some of our resources that we provide our employees. I'm hoping for the best there. And I know the ball's kind of, in the other corner right now, but I'm hoping that we're able to make some improvements there. I guess we probably need to extend it to your staff too. We greatly appreciate everything they're doing and want to keep those folks safe and healthy. Kind of reminds me of what we talked about earlier, and that one increase, the $20 increase for the health department. I don't know if that was made clear, but it should be by me, or, we should have brought it up. But that's for the person who goes out there and tests the people. Yeah. I mean, they were paying, $15 an hour, and which, it's fine. $15 is $15, but they're wanting to increase and use that grant money for the $20 amount for the person who's actually going out to the cars and swabbing people or testing them. And
we've had several of our paramedics that had to intubate these COVID patients. And that's about as high risk as you can get.
Oh, yeah.
Right down there, right by their mouth, looking down their throat and trying to put a breathing tube down. And it's about as risky as you can get. It's one of the things that, there's a lot of risky things they do all the time, but I've been real proud of them. They haven't complained. They go out and do their job, and even though some of them just get worked to death, they just keep going back. And I've been real proud of it, so.
so many times they're out there putting their lives on the line, and for various other reasons too. And I know every time I hear those sirens and the lights light up, I'm like, thank God we have a great ambulance service.
I'm trying to be partial, but
And I'm sure you are. I should be.
I feel like they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, whenever you're done, department report.
Okay, please do. If David's finished, yeah. Okay.
We do have, on the note of the COVID thing, we do have PPE. If any agency is in, or department is in need of it. I know, I took quite a bit over to the sheriff's department. It was Thursday, and then 10 of them came back over Friday and got some more. So we do have that available if the department need it. Yeah, Terry or myself. And so, IDs, if anybody's interested, been doing very good on getting the employees their badge cards, IDs, and attorneys that the judge requested. So that's gone very well.
Okay, thank you. Good update. Any other department heads? We'll move on to the commissioner's old business and discussion of parish. I didn't skip over you, did I? You guys good? Okay, I thought maybe you had something else. Okay. Okay, discussion. Okay. Discussion of parish consulting services incorporated invoice. I'll just turn the floor over to parish consulting.
He's leaving.
No, he's not.
Do you have anyone there to represent them? Okay.
That's our extension agent.
Oh, yeah.
So
We don't have anyone here tonight.
I haven't. We have their staff here.
Okay. And you weren't given any invoices or anything.
I've got the invoice here. You told me to put this on, so I put
So
this on.
maybe
So
I figured they might
didn't
come
know.
tonight and present it, but
I didn't know whether
Okay.
whether you had up or not. This is the invoice. It's a $4,036.75 increase in our monthly fee with the new,
Yeah, we have security.
with all the new
protection.
security
Okay.
stuff to
Okay.
it. So
so maybe we just need to put that to, I'll let Attorney Spindler look at it too, but maybe we just need to put that to approval.
Yeah.
Hell, all of you can look
I
at it.
mean,
We've already
that's
talked
the
about it.
information and everything we talked
Right.
about
Yeah.
with that it was going to increase there's no software and everything's in place, but the advancement of it into taking it to the next step that we have the double.
The cybersecurity.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's for the MFA
Yeah.
or MAF. I don't know. Can't get my initials right.
I feel like we really don't have a choice in that matter.
Well, we really don't, because if we don't put it in place, we lose our insurance.
Do you need us to table it, Attorney Spindler, or?
No, I'm good with it.
I mean, did we just get those, Mike? Okay. Patty just got attacked by the temperature.
Give it the wall treat.
These just came in, right?
they just,
So
we'd
they'll,
already paid the normal bill.
right.
Yeah.
And then this updated one came in and the remainder will be paid at the next. pay.
Right. It will just go through process.
Yeah.
Maybe to a motion for approval.
No,
I'll entertain a motion to approve the increase.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And under Commissioners' new business, medical leaves, we have two of them. We've acknowledged them and moved them on. Do you want to vote or?
yes.
Yeah,
I'll entertain a motion. to
Also
approve
move.
two medical leaves.
Second.
Second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And Water Tower subdivision, newly adopted subdivisions, roads. We, back, I don't know, Mary, you may have to help me on this, November, I think it was, the former commissioners, including Mary, but Mary wasn't, in Mary's defense,
I wasn't here.
she was not in attendance when they approved the roads, but we had several roads approved and to be quite honest, and kind of researching it all, the roads were not up to county standards and should have been up to county standards. So the problem we have is we have some roads that have been accepted into the county road inventory. And they did not meet the guidelines. That said, we're kind of faced, fellow commissioners, we're kind of faced with the issue of what do we do at this point? And I've tossed the idea around, gone back and forth, and I don't feel like I don't feel like the subdivision residents are to blame or I don't feel like they should be the ones that at this point, I mean, it's already been approved. So I don't feel like there's any kind of recourse there unless someone knows something I do not, which is, it's probably possible. I mean, but my thinking is going forward, we're going to have to really look closely at our roads ordinance. You know what I mean? Look at that roads ordinance and make sure we follow it anytime we accept a subdivision. And
Well, I know,
Kenny,
Matt Holden told me that Hunter's Crossing wanted to be in on that too. And he went down, they recorded the road. He said the road's not bad, it's cracked
Yeah.
up.
That's a pretty nice
And
road.
he said, he told them that we would chip and seal it. They threw a fit, they don't want chip and seal, they want new pavement. Well,
Really?
take care of your own roads, all I got to say.
They really turned it down?
Yes, they didn't want no chip and seal on their road.
Well,
Well, this has been a problem for years and years. I mean, not just recent problems, but for a long time. And I think some of it has stemmed from, the developer or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take care of the roads. Well, he gets it so full and he doesn't do anything.
That's
And
exactly
they're
right.
kind of stuck there trying to do it. And I mean, and I totally understand that. And it's kind of like what, I said before. Okay, they're low man on the totem pole. They need to get on the list, and that's about the best we can do.
Yep.
Because
I agree.
to me, yeah, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for them. I know what it is, live on a terrible road. But I mean, we cannot change our county 15-year plan.
Right.
We can add them to the list and get it working on, but that is, the highway department, highway engineers, how they work it into the system. I mean, I hate to say it that way and they may get mad at me, but that's the way it goes.
I got a question.
Mhm.
When did the county start asking permission of the landowner for you to, what you're gonna do to the county roads?
We don't, but they want us to take that subdivision in. And Matt told them that the first thing we do is chip and seal.
To seal my road out there, I didn't want it chipped and sealed, but they did it anyway.
Yeah. Do you want it broke up?
I lived on a gravel road for about 2 weeks. But that's just the way it was.
Yeah,
And if it's paving is very expensive.
yeah.
It is.
Chipping seal is your cheaper way of going to.
And it preserves.
And it preserves the road.
Right.
We dealt with it too.
Yeah, and you do what you gotta do.
Mhm.
So, to worry about what somebody in a subdivision wants or don't want, the county would be spending thousands of dollars if you
Yeah.
met every demand that come in.
Not thousands,
Well, they've kind of changed,
millions.
they've kind of changed their mind on it. So they've changed their mind. They don't want us now.
They don't want to,
No.
don't complain.
Yeah. Virtually, this one subdivision is already ours.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's also one of those that has to get into the way of everything else.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just curious, because I was gonna ask for my road to be black.
well, sure.
Well, you can ask Bob. I'll probably guarantee you it's not gonna happen, but you can ask.
I think the newer chip and seal is better than the old.
Oh, yeah.
I think-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it definitely is.
And, we're the seventh largest county in Indiana. So we have a tremendous amount of roads. And what we're trying to do is help people best we can. That's all we can do, I think. I mean, we only have a set amount of funds through our edit and places. So I think at this point, like, and this is what I want to bring up to my fellow commissioners on this is, we have a road list and we just try to put folks on, kind of like Mary said there, we'll put folks on as they come to us, and I think add them onto the list and we'll try to help them.
As
chip
best we
and
can.
seal, best we can, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. Okay, I don't think, unless anyone else has any more discussion, we'll move on to the next one there. Okay, EMS contract with Gibson General Hospital, Mr. Spindler.
The hospital reached out to me pursuant to a contract term wanting to terminate the lease for purposes of renegotiating. I have renegotiated that lease. It is a short-term period that I've renegotiated it for. It will be from July 27th of this year to January the 27th of next year. The annual rent will be $12,500. And that's payable in equal monthly installments of $2,083. I would ask, and that's $10 per square foot. So I'd ask for permission to enter into this contract.
What was the old price?
Six,
It was
600.
I think it was $3 a square foot. I think.
So it's almost doubled on us.
Well, it's been in place for years and years. Yeah, I don't know how many years, in all honesty. And it should have been probably increased. This doesn't.
Yeah, but the
surprise
building
me
hasn't
since they-
got any better. It's
Well,
got worse.
but the thing is, it's, no, I agree. And I think that's one reason we negotiated a short term because we are, we've talked about putting a new building.
Sure.
Of course, it probably take longer than that, but at least this gives us some time to look at it and make a
Right.
decision and then go from there. But I mean, it's fair market value. And that's their right to have fair market value.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's been negotiated for 20 years
Really?
or so. So I mean, we've gotten them buy cheap
Okay.
in the past.
Okay, well, now they're trying to make up for it a little bit and
But I know what they're asking for is a lot more than what they're agreeing to for this 6 months.
Yeah. They gave us a little reduction there.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve this lease
Second,
agreement or contract or however it's stated.
I hate to see them out on the street.
wow.
Well, unfortunately, they can't be.
Okay.
I do have.
Give me just a,
Okay,
This
yeah.
contract being renegotiated and starts July of this year. We don't have money budgeted for that kind of increase in payment for the rest of the year. In fact, we had one payment that was missed last year, that I knew I was trying to come up with about $625. From last year it was missed. We don't have the money for this kind of an increase unless you guys can come up with it.
Council has to come up with the added appropriation. I know they won't like it and they'll fight it, but it's either that or you don't have an ambulance space.
Yep.
Kind of like the cybersecurity.
Yep.
We bite the bullet or we don't have it.
You suggest my talk to council next week.
Yeah.
and I gave you the,
And we can explain to them that way.
Ken, the amount was $625 a month. The actual rate increase is to $9,372 annually, $1,562 monthly. So that was the negotiated rate that they agreed to. $7.49 a square foot is what that amounts to. So that's what you're going to be signing off on. That's what you're approving.
Really don't have any other options at this point, do we?
Mary made the motion, you know.
I know you guys don't want to be on it because I spoke to you.
We know what you're, yeah.
Sure.
You know, we need to do something else because first of all, it's, the hospital's always been good with us out there, but in the same sense, here's the problem. The building is old, it's not well insulated, and we pay a lot of utilities there every month. And during the winter, it gets pretty high on gas, and then during the summer, it's pretty high on electric. And I'm just saying that we really need to look and for even future, because our county's growing. You guys,
Right.
seen this all the time and
Yeah.
deal with it all the time, how everything's growing around here and, we're gonna have to grow with it or we're gonna be
Right.
having problems like.
Stuck in a cubby hole somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, like I was saying earlier, our guys have been broken. And, back during the fair, it was a busy week.
Oh, yeah. I talked to one of our paramedics and he'd been out an entire day, like over 16 hours.
I talked with several of them here recently, and they ate their lunch, so they ate their lunch at 11 o'clock at night. And so that's, now that's the thing, now there's some days, I'm not going to say that that's all the time. There's some days it's not been too bad, but they've been getting hit pretty hard.
Attorney Spindler, do we know if we were to, let's say we found someplace a little more reasonable or more appropriate for our operations, would we be on the hook for the entire year still, or?
That's 6 months.
We're only got, this is only
Just
for 6 months.
6 months, yeah. Just
I feel
And it's
better
only
knowing
6
that.
months.
Contract, so
Okay, I feel better knowing that. Well, we have a motion made,
I
and
second.
we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Presentation by Malcon Consulting Incorporated, Charles Malinowski and David Pond. You're welcome to use the,
Okay, well, I want to introduce somebody here today. This is Charles from Malcolm, and we contacted our top members just in the last few days, and we had a meeting with them yesterday. And this has to do with excise fuel tax that we can maybe recover along with Medicaid reimbursement, but I will get into it. I'll let them explain. Thank you.
Thank you, David. My name is Charles Malinowski, president of Malinowski Consulting. We shorten it up to Malcon, make it a little bit easier for all the folks all over the state. Happy to be here tonight. Yes, we had a terrific meeting yesterday morning with the EMS staff. And what I presented to you this evening, there's 2 agreements plus an additional state form for power of attorney on the excise fuel tax. So I'll just start off by saying there's no immediate action that's necessary. So as much as I'd like you to sign everything off tonight, I don't want to pressure you. We will not miss any deadlines on filing, reporting, and getting money back. Basically, these 2 agreements are a process of getting money back to the county from outside sources. We work primarily when we make our first sales pitch, if I could be that crude, with the ambulance departments, whether it's in a county, we love working with county EMS departments, or the city fire departments that we run. So the first part of this that is 100% your EMS department is the Medicaid annual cost report. We call it MACR for short. And the federal government realized about 8 years ago that the Medicaid fee for services for local government ambulance services hadn't been updated since the 1970s. So they said, if Gibson County or City of Carmel prepares a cost report, submit it to the state of Indiana Family and Social Services Administration, they will pay the additional cost beyond what they've already paid for the service fee on those fees. So that worked out really good in the first couple of years. There were some significant refunds, and the way the federal matching works really great. My understanding is that Gibson County EMS department participated in that with the assistance of another consultant. And in 2020, that contract, and I'm not sure if this is, don't quote me exactly, I'm going from whatever, but in 2020, the EMS department did not claim for that reimbursement. They can speak to it, but it was not a good business relationship, I would say. Michelle in particular didn't particularly care how that was going. So I'm not coming in and trying to steal something away, but this is something for 2021 or at the end of this year that you have so we can't do anything until the year's out. And then we have the county has until May 31st to prepare the report and submit it to Family and Social Services Administration. And unfortunately, then you wait for 12 to 18 months for the state to review it. All the questions come back, and that was one of the problems with the previous process, and that's not how we do it. So how we work on it, we're very familiar with the financial systems that counties operate. We know what to ask for in claims, fixed asset reports, payroll, and fringe benefit information. We know exactly the reports that the state's going to require from the EMS department on runs and other data that needs to be compiled in that. So we've got a good system that we've been doing this again, for about the last 8 years, and right now we have about a dozen clients, some fire departments, and God bless them, county EMS, because again, they're easier to deal with. So our proposal is to, for 2021, 22, and 23, is to prepare the claim, review it with the EMS staff and the county auditor, if so be, and if commissioners want to be involved in that process. Typically, it usually just ends with the EMS director. Submit that to the state, and then we wait for the county to get paid on that. And then we would then submit our invoice after you get paid. How our fee works is that we take 50% of what you recover up to $9,500. So the county gets a check from Indiana Family and Social Services Administration for $19,000. You get that, that's in the bank already, and we send you an invoice, and you cut us a check for $9,500. That's basically how that works. We take care of, again, all of the audit defense, all of the reporting, and we do all the data collection. None of that, there may be some data points that we have to go back and ask for, because some of that does change from time to time with the FSSA, but we're going to do our best to ask the question today, or in the spring of next year, to get all that data in, and because it's all fresh in our mind. So that's the first proposal on Medicaid ambulance cost report. Any questions?
You said 50%.
50%.
Is that negotiable? I mean, could we come back to you and say, hey, Charles, we really like everything you're offering. Maybe we'd go 20% or something. I mean,
It's
is there?
50% of something we don't have. That's something we're supposed to be getting in.
I understand.
It's a valid question.
I understand. I'm not getting anything right now, right?
I have gotten in trouble with this before. This is one of the few things that we don't negotiate. This is the most difficult projects that we work on. If you want to find out from a county level, ask Michelle in the EMS office. Because she was the one who had to answer the same questions that we will be responsible for, if we move forward on this. So we're assuming all the risk up front. We're going to do all the work, and it will be 2 years from today before we get paid. So again, you'll have the money in the bank, and the county attorney could respond to this and say, if you wanted to cancel our agreement as close as we can get to a handshake prior to paying us, we could do that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
But
business.
that's not how you
Right.
want to do business.
No.
And we want to do business with you on
All
other
right, all
things.
right.
So.
But your percentage is non-negotiable is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
50% stays.
Yeah, and this is,
Okay.
And if I could interject, right now, this is something we are not receiving.
We're not getting $1 right now.
Yeah, we're not getting anything out of this. So this is, it's money left on the table that we can receive.
Right.
so let me, to just kind of help you with this, the thought process. I went back on Pike County, which we've been doing their reporting since 2013.
Charles, what counties do you work for? Sorry to interrupt, but I gotta ask, Pike County, who do you do this for? Too many to mention, all right?
List over there, but off the top of my head, Steuben County in upper northeast.
Say that again.
Steuben. STE.
EUBN, okay,
Steuben.
gotcha.
Yeah, Knox County.
Vanderburg, do you do any?
No, we try down there and either they do it themselves, or they use another consultant.
Okay.
And there are 2 other consulting firms that you could use, and their fees are significantly higher than ours. And I believe the terms of the previous agreement was you pay them up front and they go away. I'm not throwing stones.
Right.
The fact is that the.
Facts are facts.
Upfront contract, and then Michelle had to do the work, had to answer the questions. In Hamilton County, it's ambulance is based in the fire departments. We have Westfield, Noblesville, and Carmel that we do. And there's some, so we've had some very good returns there. But again, I'm sorry, I can give you a list.
No, that's ample enough. I'm just curious who in the, close by you're working with. I think your list sounds significant
So, yeah,
enough.
so locally, Pike, Knox, Washington, yeah. And I would say we made the pitch to Scott County.
Yeah.
They do it themselves.
And
So,
you're already telling me you'll beat your competitor, so that's all I want to hear.
well,
I mean,
we don't really consider it beating our competitors. I don't like that agreement. I would not sign that. What I want to provide is an agreement that I feel comfortable with. And that's why when we do a contingent contract, there is a limit on it. You'll never have to report to the citizens and say, well, why did you pay them $100,000 to, well, because we're not, yeah, that's not the market. This is what we need to get the job. So, again, what we're looking for is to find as much cost. This is like the $500 hammer at the Pentagon. We're going to look legitimately to find out as much cost that we can defend in this report to optimize that return back to the county. Because we want to get our full fee. We're not going to stop it. I mean, what we want to do, the reality though is that those numbers do keep going down. So again, Pike up the street, in 2013, we started 74,069.28. $5,000 in 2016, and then it went up at a little up to 28,000. We still haven't been paid for 2019. They still haven't been paid for 2019. And probably you, if you had the previous consultant do it, you're still waiting on payment for your 2019. So,
Makes it kind of hard for your business, don't it?
Yeah,
Because that means you're not getting paid either.
well, yes, that's true. We're not getting paid, but we're taking the long-term approach.
Yeah.
We have, certainly there's other things that we do, certainly other things that we want to do business with in Gibson County. And then in the future, there's other things that are going to come up that might be helpful to you folks, or through networking, maybe through the school district, maybe through local transportation. We don't know. So as far as the ambulance cost reporting, I think I answered that question on who our clients are.
yes, very much so. Thank you.
Now, this is on on the fees they don't get paid, or was that on the fuel too?
No.
Because Dave was telling me.
Let's keep these two things separate, yeah.
Yeah,
They are two separate agreements.
okay.
But, and in talking about this one again, this is only going to impact the ambulance department.
Mhm.
The fuel, that's locally within the county. And we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I have another question, but I don't want, I don't want to be that student, right? I'm asking questions and then you're going to answer them 5 seconds from now. But my question is, okay, you enticed me, so here we go. So what are the preliminary estimates? What do you expect to make us? You can't throw a number out.
It's a crystal ball. We're going to take the risk that we know you're going to get paid. We don't know how much it's going to be. Even when we compare, again, your neighbor, Pike, are you going to get $25,000 out of this? We don't know, because we don't know what your runs are. We don't know what your costs are. Looking at 2021 with COVID going down, COVID going up. Also, one of the factors that we have to do to make sure that this is correctly prepared, we have to make sure there's no COVID money in it. So let's say David's paying overtime with the COVID grant. We have to make sure that we can't double dip the federal government in getting additional monies back.
Gotcha.
As much as we'd like.
Yeah.
This is for like run volume. Pike County makes between 1,600 and 1,800 runs a year. We're making about 4,500, just to give you an idea now. That, that still don't mean, I'm just saying we make more runs, so there's more potential.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, another one, Grant County. Again, northeast, we can't compare because they're only providing, the paramedics. They have a chase vehicle that goes out either to the township fire department or the hospital. So the county doesn't have the cost of the ambulance, so we can't even compare what we're getting there back. So it's everyone's different, and again, and this is actually something that I did approach the previous director over the years. I think I've been darkening the door in here for probably certainly the past 3 to 5 years, trying to have a discussion, but Director David really was quick to respond.
Okay, and I guess they had someone else processing it and.
Yes,
Okay.
they had someone else put the documentation together and drop it. Sure. So it's kind of like, all right, I'll say it. It's kind of like your CPA prepares all of your tax returns and then heads off to Florida, and then the IRS calls, and then you're stuck answering questions. We don't do business like that on anything.
We don't do that, do we?
No, sir. No, sir.
The ACPA's in the room?
No, sir. Dave, do you support this idea?
I think it's money sitting there that's flooding, right now, we're not getting. I think we need to pursue it. And then he's also got a part that, I don't know if he's ready to talk about that, but I feel that.
No, we'll let them make a decision, unless you want to keep, I don't know. How you want to make a decision.
I don't know if you guys want to decide on anything right now or not, but that's up to you.
Typically, I like to table it and give it a meeting and, give it at least until the next meeting to think about it and look at it and process it and ask more questions if
And
that.
again, we times on your side.
Yeah.
Again, with the ambulance reporting, these reports don't have to be filed until May 31st year. So we can't do anything. It would be ridiculous to try to pick up anything related to this. But there might be some time accounting things that we would look at now, but just to make sure we were on board that was in place come December 31st. Excise fuel tax refund. The Indiana Department of Revenue, and literally every state, I'm not sure, but all I know is Indiana, and that's all where we work. The state of Indiana will refund fuel tax for everybody in the audience. Excise fuel tax, that's the road tax that goes to county roads and city roads within the state of Indiana. Right now, we all pay 32 cents a gallon for unleaded gasoline and 52 cents a gallon for diesel fuel, on-road diesel fuel. Depending on how an individual organization uses the fuel, it's either exempt, you don't pay the tax, as in off-road. We have off-road, when I talked to Brant, the supervisor, the highway department has dyed diesel fuel, and that we don't pay any tax on it, as far as that, because you're not wearing out the road. So for vehicles that have a shared fuel tank, there's something we call proportional use, back to the highway department, a dump truck. The state has a chart that says 23% of the fuel that a dump truck runs through their shared fuel tank runs the dump. So we get 23% of the 53 cents a gallon refunded for that dump truck. The nice thing about the highway department is that all of that money goes back to the highway fund. General fund comes back to the general fund where it was paid unrestricted. So what we're still investigating, we're not quite sure if the highway department and the auditor's office collaborate on reporting that annually. Are you aware of that, Auditor Mike?
No,
Okay.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay, yeah, so, and I didn't want to blindside the highway department because I wanted them in the loop. I didn't want them to get pointed out. And so we're still trying to figure out if this is something in the highway department that's being done. We don't know exactly one way or the other. But under the assumption that they're not, this is something we can pick up. Specifically with the ambulances, and David, it's all diesel fuel for the ambulances?
No, we've got a mix, we've got gas and diesel, but we're heading more towards diesel.
Okay. So regardless, the state of Indiana regards an ambulance as public transportation, therefore it's 100% refundable. Well, that 53 cents a gallon that you've been paying, or 52 cents, or it hasn't gone back, is 100% refundable back to the general fund without restriction. We can go back 3 years on any department within the county to pick up the gasoline and diesel where we can, and then our agreement was proposing going 2 years forward from today. So current 12/31/22. So.
Would that be like for the sheriff's department too, the police cars or?
Well, the problem with the sheriff department is, number one, they're the biggest consumer of fuel, like a lot of problems, but we don't have time for that. Yeah, I'm the one with the 29 on my way.
Well, and so you know, you're talking to two of them.
So in this context, excise fuel tax, the problem with the sheriff's department is that they're the greatest user of fuel, but their patrol cars, either the Ford or the Chrysler, all it does, that fuel tank generates energy where out the road. It moves the vehicle down the road and does nothing else. There might be a vehicle, let's just use the coroner as an example. So county coroners now are getting a evidence, I'm not exactly an evidence vehicle that is refrigerated, it's so that evidence in that can remain cool and doesn't do its thing. So that would be that spirit. So that air conditioning refrigeration system on that, the sheriff might have one of those, or the coroner has one of the sheriff's. We don't own that. Corner. Yeah, corner. So, do you have any of those gators or anything you run around the state county fair with? We have some four-wheelers. So that's, so. Yeah, the lawnmowers. So that's a good point. The lawnmowers at the jail, like the lawnmowers for the courthouse, that the highway department might have, that fuel is not being used for the road, so 100% of the gasoline that goes into that mower, leaf blower, chainsaw, is refundable. That's real small. That's we'll call it icing on the cake. What's going to pay the bill is getting the EMS department on board. And then we have to see if the highway department's not claiming, and we know they're using dyed fuel, so the road graders, the backhoes, the right way mowers, tractor mowers, they're putting in untaxed fuel in that, so we can't get refunded for it. So there's nothing to get a refund. But the gasoline that if they have a sign truck that it runs a pneumatic jack that the state posts in, so that fuel is eligible. We don't know how exactly it works. That's why we have to go through and look at those things.
They have a big welder in the back of one of the trucks and a winch to,
if it runs, either way, there's energy, it needs energy, whether that's coming off a generator or it's sucking the fuel out of the fuel tank. The gas tank, we'll just say like a flatbed where you've got these things at. That would be at a proportional rate. Again, it's going to be
right.
Well, and so that's something that we would look at to try to, again, we're going to optimize, we're going to find as much of that as possible. So the transport van with the sheriff is eligible. Community corrections, they're banned, and the power tools that they have, that fuel is eligible.
So for transporting, for instance, to the courthouse, that fuel counts.
Transport van. Yeah, transport. Yeah, so were you running down to Evansville or?
We bring people to jail in our cars all the time, so does that count when we bring somebody to jail?
we have to ask that question. Because the only ones we're dealing with right now is specifically, we don't call it a paddy wagon anymore, but you know,
So, yeah, we transport them to doctor's visits, to court visits, and to court, things like that.
in a specific transportation vehicle. Good.
So it goes under the
Control car, yeah.
Patrol car, yeah.
like a jail car, but yeah, they can't.
Hopefully get them like an inventory of all of our stuff, good way, all
So-
our vehicles.
Just looking at Parks and Rec and then Veteran Service, that is a public transportation van. That would be 100% eligible. I think gasoline, we got one of those.
Yeah,
Well, we have the new one and then we have the old
yeah,
one.
they,
Yeah.
So,
I wonder about,
so there.
you guys, the FEMA and all that.
EMA.
Okay, so the mobile command center, if it has a shared fuel tank on it, it's eligible. But if you got an electric generator that's running off of that, powering that, the equipment on that vehicle. Not the equipment.
What about assessor's office?
Excuse me?
Assessors? They have a
Assessor,
fleet of vehicles.
the assessor's office, it's gonna be like a patrol car. I don't know anything in the assessor's office that you have equipment that's other than, yeah, so you.
And
yeah.
it's not public transport.
It's not public. So if you've got I don't know, winch, some kind of crane boom on it, so, you know, it's
I've been
just-
trying to
it's
say
just-
neither.
But anyway, so those are gonna be the small ones, the outliers, it's gonna be, that's how it's gonna be the way we make our money. How do we make our money? We collect all the data, and it was interesting, it was a good meeting with the EMS because we have 3 sources of fuel. We use Wabash Valley, and the test was that we looked at the invoice, it showed the taxes you were paid, so we can prove to the state of Indiana, pay the tax, and then they have fuel logs by vehicle, shows the number of gallons, so it's clutch. This is going to work for EMS. You will get this refund, and that's why we can do a contingent fee. We're absolutely certain that you will get refunded. That test, we have to see again, you know, what's going on in the highway department. But I think that's kind of where I wanted to end there. So,
How do you get paid?
how do we get paid? We submit the claim to the, I think, great question. Indiana Department of Revenue, we ask that you sign off on a power of attorney limited to this tax and this tax only for the period of our agreement. So that when there are questions from the Department of Revenue, we answer those questions. If they're minor ones, they have usually been minor questions, we answer them on the phone or via email. If it's something significant, we've either worked with the county auditor. We really haven't had that problem with fuel tax there, but in that scenario, we would say, here's the problem, here's our solution to fix it, and we want to make sure you're in the loop on it. Generally, we take care of that and it's done, and then the check comes to the county. When the check comes to the county, we will, that's the last part that we really don't know when it happens. So we try to monitor it. Department of Revenue doesn't tell us, but we will, once we know, we'll let the county auditor know how to split that refund between general fund, where it was paid for EMS, and then the highway department, where it was paid also there, if that was the case. So, and our fee is 50% per quarter. Our fee will be no more than $1,500. So if you got $3,000 in that quarter, we would bill you 50%, $1,500 after you have the money in the bank already. If it's more than $3,000, that's all yours, up to that $1,500. Say we only get $1,000 back. Actually, we got some really small organizations. So 250, we got $125. We probably wouldn't be going full. And that's not happening here. we're looking at, even without, even if EMS alone, probably about $2,000 a quarter. I would say. To give you a ballpark. We'll be able to know. I mean,
You get 1,000, we get 1,000.
That's right. In that scenario, yeah.
Unless I can talk you into
You get
40%.
$2,000.
Okay, but you're not budging on that 50, are you?
No,
You say nothing, until they get paid.
yes, sir, that is correct. The money's in your bank before we cut the invoice. So we're assuming the risk. Certainly there's risk. You don't know us. We've never done business before. Last time I did business here, I was an employee of David Griffith and Associates. And I was working on a cost allocation plan 20 years ago in the auditor's office. That was, they are now an unnamed competitor.
Okay. Mary, does that ring a bell?
Actually, if it was that long ago, I wasn't in office yet.
Okay. My apologies.
One thing, I don't know.
Close, but not quite.
He also, one thing you were saying earlier, they can go back on the fuel tax for you. So,
So you could recoup some of those that we didn't file.
So what,
Okay.
here's the way our agreement's set up, you can cancel at any time. What we, especially if all we're gonna find is the ambulance is the only department that we're gonna be able to claim on. Have us start the current, get it going, and then do the retro, get that money coming in, get the system in place. Michelle's a real sharp cookie. I'm actually afraid that I didn't want to give the farmer away with information, but she asked the question, we ran through the form, I showed her how it's done. But what I'm suggesting, let's start, let's get this going.
Right.
And then we'll get that retroactive, get current, and then hopefully we like working together, we'll continue on. If the county decides that you want to do this in-house, make the auditor do it, make the do it.
I get 50% then, right? Okay, we're doing it.
This math isn't working out.
Well, but it is a payoff.
Starting to feel like Shark Tank. Okay. Pay attention. Pay attention.
So that's, so that in a nutshell is the excise fuel tax program. We have about 2,000 clients. We've had some school districts, but that window, certain tax.
You're based out of,
Hamilton.
say it again?
Hamilton.
Okay.
Carmel.
Carmel. Gotcha.
I don't know how I got it, but I ain't from around here.
Okay. All right.
I will tell you, I talked to, Chris Young, which is director of Gibson, Pike County EMS. And, they've dealt with them since what, 2013?
Yeah.
And, Rich told me, he said it's been very successful for them. And he said that he highly recommends it, but, you know, they brought back money, you know. I don't know that they would do the Medicaid part, but they do the fuel tax.
Oh, yeah, we do the Medicaid.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So we do the Medicaid with like.
Very good.
And if you wanted a local commissioner to touch base with, certainly, I think it's Commissioner Jeff. All three of the commissioners in fact are familiar with this.
Thank you for your presentation and, fellow commissioners, would you like to take this under advisement and bring it up?
Well, I think we need to look at it and see, what we think and talk to people.
Fair enough.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And I do want to emphasize that I don't want to put you under pressure. Maybe in the future, there might be something else that needs to be acted on faster. But these two projects, you have the time to use your wisdom to decide which way you want to go.
Yeah. It's like Commissioner Montgomery said, it's bringing in revenue that we're not getting anything for right now. We're
Money on the table.
right, bringing in some money. Well, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Commissioners, I appreciate coming here. And I'll just conclude that 18 years ago, we started our own business. And one of the really nice things about having your own business, I don't know if you do have a business here, but I don't know if you have your own business. The nice thing about it, you get to pick and choose who you want to work with. And after spending 2 hours in the EMS office with their staff and Commissioner Mary. I want to do business with you folks. You're nice, you're fun people. I think you got your act together. And certainly the contracts were there, everybody was in the loop, so there's places in the state of Indiana we don't want to go, but this is certainly one we'd like to. So thank you for your time. And you can either contact me directly if you have any questions, and I'll just wait to hear back.
Okay. Thank you for your comments, and we're kind of partial. We like our county very much too. We're very proud of it, so we're glad to hear outsiders say the same thing. Thank you. About to wrap things up here, but something I wanted to bring up with the commissioners is moving forward with some of our TIF projects. And I know we've got a lot on our plate right now, and we've moved some great projects forward. And I just wanted to bring this up with commissioners. But one source of direction would be to focus in here. We've got quite a bit on our plate that, again, awesome projects, phenomenal projects. But I would kind of like to see us focus on some road improvements, those that benefit Toyota and those that benefit our community moving forward. And it's not like I'm proposing a particular project, but I want to put that out as kind of maybe a group focus moving forward with TIF dollars, is to really hone in on some road projects that would benefit that TIF district. Go ahead.
I know, I talked to the people down at that meeting last Wednesday at Evansville, and we was talking about the recovery money. It cannot be used for roads whatsoever.
Water and sewers, okay?
Yeah, water and sewer's fine, that kind of infrastructure, but roads don't count.
So we really need to set aside some dollars for roads.
Well, and I think the only thing you can recover for is money lost due to not getting excise, and that can be for the highway department, that can be
Right.
gotten from that, but not for actual road projects.
Yep. I was hoping we could when they said infrastructure, but that's just.
Not that
Water and sewage.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
So again, I'm just putting it out there to see if you're agreeable with it, and would at least consider it at this time going forward. Maybe even think about, some projects going forward that would improve the roadways and help some of the congestion. I'm always getting calls about our TMMI, our Toyota traffic, and not that people are complaining about the traffic as much as they're saying, what can we do to improve our roadways? What can we do to maybe increase the size of some of the sides of the roads? Or, what can we do to widen roads? What can we do to just get it down the road and help people get home at night safely? So.
Well, that's what it was put there for to begin with.
Yeah.
I agree. Is there anything else from anyone here in attendance or any of the other commissioners? Mr. Watkins, are you good?
Good.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Thanks for coming, everyone.